Hello everyone, this is Vijay for Graceunlimited. After a little while, I have been able to join you into praise and worship. It was because I was occupied with certain commitments, and therefore, God has chosen this day when we can be together in this fellowship and benefit from it. Certain points that I wanted to discuss with you in this Holy Week, the feature being Good Friday and Easter, that actually tells you more about the coming times when death is going to not be the truth. It is going to be false. How? Because there was a time when there was nothing, and then everything came out of that nothing. According to science, also, they say that there was nothing. Why? Because they don't see anything beyond that point, and darkness befalls, and they say they get blinded and they say that there's nothing. So, precisely, it was that nothing means even there was no atmosphere or even gases or oxygen or any sort of thing that would be responsible for the uh, creation to exist or to take place. Now, at that time, we could say there was a spirit that never dies, that is always alive. How I say that is because in today's time as well, we die, our spirit is still there, and it impacts people, it affects them, it affects their lives. So, although we appear to have died, we are alive in spirit. Let me say one thing to you, and that is about betrayal and trust. Now, when we talk about betrayal and trust, generally people say that people betray you, so after the betrayal, the trust is never developed. It is always better that people make mistakes but they don't betray. Now, I don't agree with such statements, because if you go to see how much we betray God and how many times He forgives us, so there is one aspect over here, and that aspect is of love, because He created the whole creation out of love, and love is a very, very important uh, angle. There is nothing that is more uh, better or more significant than love, because this aspect He has even put into the animals, and you can see that they love their siblings and their families or whatsoever. So that is very, very strong in the whole creation, and hate probably came later, because that was not what God intended. It came through the negative angle of the devil, the Satan, who betrayed God's trust. And so, after he betrayed God's trust, this betrayal came into existence. And we see that when Jesus was crucified upon the cross, uh, Judas was one of his disciples who betrayed his trust. Now, what happened? Did the betrayal benefit Judas in any way? No, he did not. He became very guilty about it at some stage, and also he he took his own life, and Jesus, although he was hung upon the cross because he was Messiah of love and he died for the sake of love. So, what happens over here? You see, after that, that the element, the aspect of love becomes more eternal. And the way beyond this life gets created from exactly that state of affair. He goes upon the cross, he hung himself upon the cross. So it happens with us also. Now, you see, we also are betrayed. Our trust gets betrayed by people who are close to us, and we least expect out of them that these people are going to ever betray us, but they do betray us. As a result, our love, if it is the love that God has put in our heart, never gets uh, changed for those people. At the moment, uh, even although we are betrayed, we feel more about such people that they are ignorant, and that is the reason why they don't understand that anything that you do that is not favorable will never result in anything favorable. An unfavorable approach will always yield unfavorable result. So now these people, they do an unfavorable thing like betrayal, and then it results in their own uh, you know uh, destruction. In the case of Judah, it happens. He got so guilt filled that he went and killed himself. Now, even in today's world, such people who betray your trust, they probably kill themselves, because the angle and approach which they keep towards the life will get them stuck into some quicksand, and from there it will be very difficult for them one day to release themselves. So that aspect doesn't benefit them. So actually their condition is pathetic, it's not us, because we who have suffered betrayal, our love is going to overcome that betrayal, and eternity of love gets established through it. Now people will remember us because we are the people who have suffered, and when you suffer, then you don't sin. That's a very common thing that the Bible always talks about, that when you are suffering, that time you do not sin. So a person who suffers this kind of a betrayal, he is actually released from all the negative aspects of his life. And the person who is inflicting these sort of things upon him, that is with the objective of harming this individual, they do not understand that it's working against their own life. And eventually you will always see that such people who betray your trust, they never stabilize in their life. They are always unstable. They'll betray your trust, then they'll go and betray another person's trust, and that chain will continue. But eventually what they are doing is they are uh, budding themselves into uh, more and more problems, and they are building mountains of problems for their own selves, and after that it will weigh them down, because that will become so much of weight upon them that they will not be able to release themselves from it one day they'll succumb to it. So we must understand that it must not lead us into hate. Betrayal must not lead us into hate. Betrayal should lead us into more love. Remember one thing, that you must not allow people to draw you into their storm. You must always draw them into your peace, and you will see that miracles will start happening in your life, and you will be able to at least have peace of mind. And when you have your peace of mind, you are in a better position to act in your life, and your senses also get activated, and you have better ideas to go forward and overcome all the difficulties that you face. So that is one thing. Now, there is one more thing that I want to tell you for the Easter. Then I'll bring you to one more very logical kind of a thought that evolved into my brain, and then I was thinking about that very seriously, and then I will keep it in the domain in my next message. So you catch up in my next message, and I will tell you about that aspect as well. So in the Bible, you will see there is a verse, and it is about, I'll tell you, Psalm 116:15. Psalm 116, chapter 15th verse. What does it say? Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. One thing that people are always saying is life is very good and so, therefore you must. But let me give you one angle about this. The problems only start when life starts, and the problems end when life ends. You will see that when death results, all your pain, misery, and everything also is dead, it's gone. And it only begins when life begins. It begins with pain. Life begins with pain. Death ends the pain. So after that, what happens? That it continues throughout in some way or the other. Troubles, miseries, problems, then they keep on hitting you until you finally die. So let me tell you, life is more challenging, death is not so challenging. And if anything happened that is miraculous, that is at the time of Easter, when Jesus died upon the cross. They hung him upon the cross. He was Messiah of love, and they thought that the love is going to end once it's hung upon the cross. But no, it resulted in more love. It resulted in eternal love. It resulted in eternity. It resulted in atonement. And atonement probably actually is our tuning. When we tune into the right approach of life, and we have the right perception that life is not about things that we give importance to. It's more of a spiritual aspect. Just like a baby who is in mother's womb doesn't need to breathe, but he's still growing and he's still living. It is not necessary that when you stop breathing, you are going to stop growing. You are going to stop living. If a baby can live in a mother's womb, then I'm very sure about that we people, after we no longer breathe, go into our graves, we shall become more alive than ever, because we are spirit beings, all of us. And spirit is nothing but energy, and energy never dies, and it is never consumed. It remains constant. You know that if energy were to, even a fraction of energy was to uh, get less in any way, the whole universe would collapse, because the whole universe has been created with energy, and therefore it has to be constant. And we people are, who are bundles of energy, we will be alive because energy doesn't die, and we are bundles of energy, so we are going to live now, transcend to the higher limits in our life. Jesus was actually, he once also transfigured into a light being, in a spirit being, and people witnessed. There were three instances that I noticed in the Bible when Jesus had this spiritual kind of a experience, people witnessed. One was when he was walking upon the water. At that time, it appeared to them that there was a spirit that was walking and upon the water and approaching them, where his disciples were. The second time, you can see that Jesus transfigured into light being, and his three disciples were there who witnessed that he was standing with Moses and Elijah. Now, once you transcend into that form of life, that is a form that we are not aware about. It is beyond our science and understanding. But since it was required for us to understand that this is not the end, he had to give uh, that kind of a knowledge to his disciples, that this is how there will be a time when we will be changed in a blink of an eye, and we will take that kind of a form. The third time, when Jesus had come out of his grave, and the angels were there, sitting relaxed, that the law was fulfilled. No longer they need to stand anymore, they can relax. That time the stone was rolled when his disciples, they approached the grave. They found that the stone was rolled. It wasn't rolled for Jesus to come out of his grave, because now Jesus was in that form where he could come out of the wall. So he transcended into the higher realm. So that is the state we shall all take, because originally, when there was nothing, there was that spirit that was responsible for things to take place, for things to be created. So it has all been created from that one spirit. We also come out of that one spirit, and then we are put into physical state. We are brought into physical state. So when you actually come to the world, to the physical world from the spiritual world, so you are actually uh, limited. You are made limited. But when you go back to the spiritual world, then you again become unlimited, and then your horizons are unlimited as well, horizons of approach. So he wanted us to be just like him. In one place, it is written in the Bible that first the physical came and then the spiritual came. Why he says that first the spiritual came and then the physical came? It was because unless you first have that shape which is recognizable, there is no point, because that's precisely why Jesus had to come. Because when you see him, then you see God, you see the face of God. And when you are able to identify yourself with God, then it is easier for you to believe. So it is very necessary for us to take a shape. Now, just uh, for an example, I would tell you that you have a something that you want to create. You have it in your mind that okay, I'm going to create this table or chair or whatever, and now nobody can see what you have in your mind unless you have put it into a physical kind of a shape and size. Now when people can physically see it, they can touch it, now it is in their mind as well that this is how it looks like. So then what happens that in future, whenever it's required, when they see this kind of a shape or size, they will immediately recognize it to be that particular thing that you originally had thought about. So this is how it should be when we go to God. If we have a body, we have a shape. That shape will be recognizable, and therefore we recognize our ancestors, and we will recognize other people who are with the Lord. And that is very necessary for us to take certain shape. Therefore, on this Easter, we must all understand the that God Himself took a particular shape. He came in our midst so that we can identify ourselves with Him. And He wanted to fill us up with His love, because love is the only thing that is going to take you beyond and also save you from all the things that are going to harm you. So, to develop this love, He went upon the cross to tell you that love is never going to fail, it's never going to die. It doesn't matter who betrays your trust, it doesn't matter what people do to you. You must continuously dwell in love, because your spirit is going to actually irritate those who do not understand what love is all about, and they will come and harm you. They will put you upon the cross, but it will result in only good, your good, not their good. Today, the people who put Jesus upon the cross are not remembered. Jesus is remembered, Jesus is followed, Jesus has changed lives, He has changed perception, He makes a difference in people's life. And when you will dwell in that kind of a approach, you will see the miracles happening in your life as well. Today, when I am in whatever condition, my condition is not good, I'm a polio patient as well. So I also last time fell and I broke my uh, pelvic bone, which is not still okay. It has resulted in my being very limited. I move about in a very limited fashion, because my pain keeps coming back. But one thing I noticed, that in that also God has done certain good. He has kept me well. He has lifted me to a lot of heights where people see His glory shining upon me, where people see His light upon me, and they get inspired. They are also most of them are asking me to pray for them. I know other communities, my people who are known to me are belonging to other communities. Whenever they fall into deep trouble, they ask me that you pray for us. And surprisingly, whenever I have prayed, their impossible situation also improves. So, on this good note, let me tell you, Jesus went upon the cross so that we people bring faith upon His love, dwell in love, and this love is only going to make this world a better place. You can see already people are dwelling in a lot of hate, but resulting in nothing. Hate doesn't result in any good. It is only bringing destruction to everybody, to the mankind and everyone. So, my objective over here is to bring communities together. Only one thing is there, that is love, that can bring them together. There is no other way. I can't and I don't want to win over anybody with hate, because that is uh, going to literally destroy everything and never going to be constructive. So, you win people by your love. Let them do bad, no problem. They're bad. You should not respond in the bad way. Do them good to the people who do bad to you. Once you do that, you will see that eventually from within they will value your good one day, and that will bring about an internal change, and that's very necessary, because external change is of no use. It doesn't bring about any any good in a person. So on this good note, that Jesus died upon the cross and He resurrected on the third day to give us hope that this is not the end, and death of a saint is valued in God's eyes. Therefore, you are having a secure and bright future. So you have to just do one thing: dwell in love. God is love, and He will ensure that your future is secure. And after you die, you are resurrected as well, and your dwelling place would be in paradise next to Jesus. So, praise the Lord, and may God help you throughout your lives in developing good understanding of love and believing upon love, and that will result in your good as well. So remember, Jesus resurrected on the third day after His death, and from that time love won over everything else. All the betrayals and everything, all the negatives, they all failed, and what actually passed, goodness and love, got promoted eternally. And that is the only way that is going to make a difference in everybody's life. I wish more and more people they understand. Nowadays we are having wars taking place between countries, and that is not a very good sign. That is just imposing one's superior uh, self upon the other. That is not the right approach to keep. You could have generally won over people with love, and that would have made strength. Now, after you get involved in wars, you will result in only destruction and self-destruction. The person whom you inflict injuries upon, he also inflicts a few upon you. So slowly, your roots are also going to get rotten. So remember to dwell in love always. God is love. That is the only thing that will take you beyond. So God bless you all. Bye bye for now. I'm going to join back very soon with another perception that I want to give you. It's there in my mind. So have a good Easter and with your families, and hope that we meet again soon in Jesus' name. Thank you. Bye bye.